This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Efrem Graham. Vice President Mike Pence is escorting Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh to meet with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell today. His appointment is seen as crucial because Kavanaugh could potentially vote with the majority to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's the decision that legalized abortion. CBN's White House correspondent Ben Kennedy was in the room when President Trump announced Kavanaugh's selection.
This was no doubt a historic moment for President Trump as he moved to make his mark on the Supreme Court with a second nominee. During the Made for Primetime event, President Trump introduced Judge Brett Kavanaugh as his nominee to replace retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy.
What matters is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require. I am pleased to say that I have found, without doubt, such a person.
Handpicked from a group of 25, Kavanaugh becomes a crucial appointment that could tilt the court for decades.
My judicial philosophy is straightforward. A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law.
Are you ready for a fight?
Demonstrators gathered outside the high court to express their disappointment with the president's pick, and they aren't the only ones.
The AFA, the American Family Association, which we all know here, and they're, I guess determined would be more on the further on the right, if you will. They are, remember, this is an evangelical conservative organization. They are calling on their supporters to oppose Brett Kavanaugh. Now that's news, and that's a big deal.
Kavanaugh has served on the D.C. Court of Appeals since 2006. He earned a law degree from Yale, clerked for Justice Kennedy, and has a vast judicial record with more than 300 opinions.
Tomorrow, I begin meeting with members of the Senate, which plays an essential role in this process.
Now President Trump predicts a vicious confirmation battle. The lines are already drawn. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants a vote by the fall. However, Democrats want to wait until after the midterms. With a razor-thin majority and Senator John McCain battling brain cancer at home, Republicans need total unity to push this nominee through. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, Washington.
As you saw in that story, CBN's Faith Nation political analyst team of David Brody, Jenna Browder, Paul Strand, and Jennifer Wishon take a look at Kavanaugh's chances for confirmation and why the president chose him.
This was the blue chip pick. This is, if on the stock market, this is the stock that's just pretty solid. I mean, no surprises. I mean, it is going to be really, really hard to stop him. I mean, he's the guy with the impeccable credentials. Last time I checked, there was a guy named Neil Gorsuch who had impeccable credentials. And it seems like this is exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do. I know some sources that I was talking to, Jenna, wanted to make sure Trump wanted to continue the Gorsuch model, which is to have a guy that pretty much, or have a person, that pretty much could just sail through. I'm not suggesting he's going to sail through just because we live in a day and age where no one sails through, but this is the guy. I mean, he's got the resume and he's the most qualified, and President Trump decided that was it.
Yeah, and another source saying that he kind of, in terms of conservative, liberal, where he stands on that spectrum, this source was saying that he is actually slightly a smidge to the right of Gorsuch.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that,
actually. Yeah, it would be interesting to see where he eventually falls. There's no doubt that the court is moving to the right with a Brett Kavanaugh pick. The question becomes, who becomes the new swing vote, which I think we all agree it's going to be Justice Roberts, but I want to get some more opinions here. Hello. Paul Strand and Jennifer Wishon. Paul, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a good pick. I think that Donald Trump has gone beyond maybe what would be his own prejudices, being a sort of a not all that friendly with the Bush family, and he seemed to have risen above that. And I think that maybe some of the advice he was getting that Brett Kavanaugh could almost sail through the Senate. We know it's going to be a battle, but that he will get through. It may have had an effect on him.
It'll be interesting, because of Judge Kavanaugh's work with Ken Starr, independent counsel with Bill Clinton. I think we're going to hear the word Mueller a lot in his confirmation hearing. If something that Mueller, digs up or decides, or something out of that investigation reaches the Supreme Court, how would he handle that? So I think that President Trump had to have known that when he picked him, and he seems to be okay with that.
The White House expects a confirmation on Kavanaugh before October 1st. That is when the Supreme Court begins its new term. The final mission to save the rest of the boys and their soccer coach trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand is underway. Health officials say the 11 boys brought out in the last few days are in high spirits and generally healthy. Those rescued are now in the hospital, quarantined for at least 7 days, away from germs and infections.
They were in that cave for a long time, exposed to human waste and obviously unsanitary conditions. There can be skin breakdown, infections.
If medical tests show no danger, parents will be able to enter the isolation area to see their children for the first time since the boys became trapped in that cave some 2 weeks ago. Here's a look now at some of the other big headlines we're following for you today inside the CBN newsroom. Dozens of immigrant children are set to be released from detention centers and reunited with their parents today. A government attorney says at least 54 children under the age of 5 will rejoin their parents by today's court-ordered deadline. The parents will be free while their cases wind through immigration court and may be required to wear ankle monitors. A new wave of attacks against Christians in Nigeria has led to hundreds of murders. More than 200 people were killed in a village massacre just 2 weeks ago. An international human rights advocate says Nigeria is now the deadliest place in the world to be a Christian. He's calling on Congress to appoint a special envoy to investigate. The death toll continues to rise after heavy rain slammed Japan. Japan's government confirms at least 134 people are dead, with more than 50 people still missing. Rescue crews are searching for survivors as floodwaters subside, but landslides loom. Thousands of homes are without clean water and electricity in Hiroshima and other hard-hit areas. Now, for more on these stories and others throughout the day, you can always visit cbnnews.com. President Trump visits Britain in a few days, but one question looms large. Will there be a sitting prime minister for the president to meet? Aldale Hurd is on this story.
The major concern over President Trump's visit to Britain had been all the opposition he could face. Now a bigger concern is if there will be a British prime minister for the president to meet. The British left is planning massive demonstrations like these for Trump's visit, complete with a large balloon depicting the American president in a diaper. It caused the White House and Downing Street to propose keeping the president out of London. Now, British Prime Minister Theresa May has bigger problems. Since she submitted her Brexit plan to leave the European Union, 2 cabinet members resigned: Brexit Secretary David Davis and Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, after which Piers Morgan, the host of the TV show Good Morning Britain, tweeted that May was toast. May's so-called soft Brexit plan, which would keep Britain under the EU's thumb on legislation and trade policy in perpetuity, was denounced by Brexit leader Nigel Farage as a total betrayal of what people had voted for. Boris Johnson described it with a word for excrement, and the Prime Minister had a rough go selling the deal in Parliament.
What we are proposing is challenging for the EU. It requires them...
problem is that number 10 has lost its backbone. It's decided to get a fit of the heebie-jeebies and retreat from Brexit.
A no-confidence vote by her party could end her government. 48 letters must be sent to the leadership by Conservative members of Parliament to trigger the vote. One party source told a British paper it seems pretty certain that the 48 letters would be delivered. Were May to lose that vote, she would have to resign as Conservative Party leader, and the visiting President Trump would have to meet with someone else.
It is the right Brexit deal for Britain, and I commend this statement to the House.
But it could also be the Brexit deal that brings down her government. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
I want to turn now to the Middle East, where Syria's army is seizing more territory and they're being helped by Russian air power. Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell tells us this is creating an enormous humanitarian crisis.
The Syrian army captured areas along its borders with Israel and Jordan, plus the main crossing into Jordan. This now more than 7-year-old civil war has caught thousands of Syrian civilians in the crossfire. Just behind me is the Israeli-Syrian border, and on the other side of the fence are thousands of Syrians who have fled the recent fighting. The UN estimates more than 300,000 people have fled their homes. This drone footage shows the sea of new tents. The IDF has reached out to help those who now call this home.
The main mission is to give as much humanitarian aid to the other side. We do it first because when you understand what's happening on the other side and you know that they don't have anything and they really suffer, you cannot stand aside and do nothing. I think it's part of what we know to do is to help other people who need it. It's their neighbors on the other side.
Former IDF Lieutenant Colonel Marco Moreno developed this good neighbor policy several years ago. Now he works with a Christian relief organization coordinating operations with the IDF.
FAI, we are working on launching a team now, a medical team, inside the refugees camp in order to help them on the medical field. Because it will take a couple of days and, diseases will start, children, will have issues. So FAI is engaging immediately, first of all sending a medical team and also a relief, tents, babies' food, whatever we can supply.
They are working against the clock to save lives.
Right now it's critical to engage the issue of displacement and the refugees on the ground because it's the hottest months of the year right now. So in terms of dehydration and hunger and medical issues, we're seeing a mounting, escalating humanitarian crisis. And now is the time for believers to engage. The door is open. We have the access.
Thomas says they need help.
We need human bodies. We need salt and light people on the ground. So if you're a medical professional, education, psychological, trauma counseling, you name it, we need it. This is a field that is ripe and white unto harvest.
The crisis has formed a unique partnership.
If I'm an American that likes Israel and bless Israel so he can be proud in the IDF with the Christian ministry helping the Muslims.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, on the Israeli-Syrian border.
Still to come, meet Sam Brownback and see how he is advocating now for religious freedom. The story's next. In his 15 years as senator, Sam Brownback worked tirelessly to fight religious persecution. That's why President Trump chose him as America's ambassador for international religious freedom. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales sat down with the ambassador to talk about his plans for protecting people of faith.
One person's bondage is another person's burden to break. With those words, former U.S. Senator Sam Brownback sent a message to the world about his new role as ambassador for international religious freedom. Talk to me about your day and what you do to prepare for your job.
Well, it's a great job, and I love it. I get up and I believe in prayer and I exercise it myself.
During our conversation, Brownback talked of how much he needs the help of fellow Christians and the church. In addition to seeking prayer, the ambassador hopes churches will organize and write to foreign embassies on behalf of Christians held prisoner in those countries.
And you may think, look, that's just a throwaway. Nothing's going to happen there. But these governments, what they'll do is they'll kind of, I'm not really paying attention to that. But then they'll kind of, after a while, they'll see, gosh, we got 100 letters here about this person.
The goal is that embassy staff will contact their country, such as North Korea, China, and Turkey, and make sure the person is still alive.
And you end up giving them a name and a face, and it might keep them alive.
Brownback has become personally involved in pushing for the release of American pastor Andrew Brunson, who's been locked up in a Turkish jail for almost 2 years.
Turkey's just taken a different attitude towards the United States now, much more confrontational with us, and I think we have to respond aggressively.
This administration, out of any administration in the past, can bring that change. Do you want to bring that change?
I do, and I think to me it's important to state, here is what's happening, and the statement is important itself. But at the end of the day, I think you get some teeth out there.
According to Brownback, those teeth will be strong sanctions against countries committing religious persecution.
The actual use of the tools that are available, the economic sanctions, the tying of economic aid, the military issues, I think would be important for the expansion of religious freedom around the world. And I'm pushing for that to take place.
Oh, you're bringing those to the White House?
We're pushing them forward.
He says until you introduce a consequence for bad action, nothing will change. The same is true for North Korea and China.
North Korea and the gulag system that they have, the treatment of Christians is horrific. China, what they're doing towards many religious faiths, putting people in re-education camps. I mean, this is a concept from the 50s.
In order to bring these countries into the 21st century, Brownback is looking to this summer's first ever ministerial summit on religious freedom. That's where he will present social and economic information proving that religious freedom helps to counter terrorism.
This isn't just a great U.S. concept or noble human concept. This is actually good for your nation. And my hope is that that series of items will come together to press some countries forward to really embrace this cause.
Effective international action to stop religious persecution and discrimination requires strong U.S. leadership. Brownback believes the Trump administration's commitment will bring worldwide change. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Still ahead, sitting down with worship leader Phil Thompson. Stay with us. Phil Thompson is a recording artist whose music is climbing the charts. We're going to take a listen to some of the tracks from his hit debut CD. Take a listen.
You shelter me in the shadow of your wings. My home
We are here with Phil Thompson. The project is called My Worship, your first as a solo artist.
Yes, sir.
Now, why did you opt to go solo? Many people will know you from Ashmont Hill.
Sure. I wrote songs for Ashmont Hill, and I just went through a really difficult season of my life, and the Lord gave me songs throughout the season, and I just felt like they were a little bit more personal, just like storm songs that came out of that season. And when I prayed about it, I just felt the Lord saying to me, solo project, to release it on my own, and so I just compiled a bunch of songs, and right at the end of it, when I thought I had totally finished writing songs and I was kind of getting out of that difficult season, the Lord just dropped this idea on my mind that each person's worship is as unique as their fingerprint. And it just got me thinking about how we're all sum totals of all of these life experiences, but we all have one thing to offer to God that no one can offer Him, and that's our worship. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Receive my worship, all of my worship. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Father, receive my worship, all of my worship.
You said that every song was birthed in a storm, if you will, a difficult season. What can you share about that time?
It was just such a difficult time for me, and I was really, really broken. And you know, I was dealing with marital problems, and I had been married for 16 years, and it was really difficult. But you know, the Lord just gave me song after song after song, and these songs would personally get me through. Like there was a season where, like, there's a song called Light the Way on the project, where I would just sit at the piano each night and cry about this and just sing the song and feel uplifted. Father, light, be my present help. Say, oh my God. to just know like this impact that the song is having is such a blessing to me, you know, because it really, I felt like the Lord was just giving me these songs to get me through. Yeah. And so, you know, for all of these people to be blessed by it is just, it's amazing, you know.
People will be surprised. You've been singing pretty much most of your life, but you didn't start writing songs until you were 30?
Yes.
So new to songwriting.
Yes, absolutely.
At that point. Were you surprised? What triggered writing songs you've been singing all this time?
I was a gym teacher out of college. So I taught PE, was happy with it. And one day I was on the phone with my sister and I was trying to decide between leaving PE and go full-time into real estate because I dabbled in real estate. And she just had preached this message. I'm one of 8 siblings.
And I think all of you are in full-time ministry?
And everyone's in full-time ministry. So 4 pastor their own churches all up the East Coast. And she just happened to talk to me and said, Phil, I preach this message on going back to your first love and remembering what your first love is, to find your purpose, to find you know what you're passionate about. And she's like, I don't know if you remember, but you used to mess around with that piano, you used to rhyme with people and different things like that. And so she was like, why don't you write a song? And I was 30 years old. I wrote a song and fell in love with it and realized that I had a gift that was dormant in me for this, and taught myself to play instruments just to support it, and just wrote and wrote and wrote, and because I just fell in love with writing songs.
Come on, let's sing it out in this place.
We leave you with this tweetable thought on a Tuesday. If you are waiting until you're in trouble to pray, you're already in trouble. Remember, we are called to pray without ceasing. You can't have an intimate relationship with your Father if you are not talking to Him, and prayer is your direct line of communication. Be sure to enjoy that access to prayer. That's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to your company tomorrow, right here at the very same time. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.